So I wanted to write a book for quite a long time, and just kept putting it off because I didn't know how, didn't really have the steps to follow, and so I came across Barbara and her system, and it really like laid out the plan of how I can write my first book. And so the systems will set you free, and it will help you to get your first book out there. And so I was trying to write a business book, and talking about how to create systems for businesses. And then I realized that Barbara had created a system to write a book. And but I was a little hesitant to go into the program because I didn't really know much about it, didn't know if it would work. But I started just walking down that path, and lo and behold, I had my first book. Um, and I have some notes here. So the fact that there was a system, there was a step one, a step two, a step three, and a system that leads you to success in this was so appealing to me. And it allowed me to have that freedom to focus on writing and to helping me get the content out there. And I figured I would just write one book, but after the initial experience of going through the system of writing the book, lo and behold, I wrote another one and another one and another one. So 4 books using this. Some of the doors that opened for me were quite amazing. I was told by a friend of mine that is an author. He says, you probably won't get rich writing books, but you might get rich doing or reaping the benefits of that book. So I'm a speaker, and the first book is a business card, or your books are a business card for you, and it really allowed me to expand my credibility. I was on TV because of my books. I was chosen to speak because of my books. And that's what I do. I'm a stage speaker, a conference speaker. And so the biggest thing about writing your book and using this system to get your book out there is it gives you credibility. You become an expert in the subject of your book. I'll just tell you a quick story of how one book made a huge impact. I donated several books to a nonprofit auction, a fundraising auction, and I was quite proud because the first book went for $60. And afterwards, the guy that bought it came up to me and said, "So what's your book about?" And I said, "You paid $60 for a book you don't know anything about." And he said, "Well, I just like the title." And so he went back to Montana and read the book and gave it to his brother-in-law, who is a big business owner. His brother-in-law read the book, finished the last chapter, and called me and said, "You're coming to speak to my company." And through that, coaching happened. Through that, I found a coach that works for me today. He coaches my business owners, clients. And so that was just one book. One book gave me the credibility to go speak and to coach. And in that crowd was a person that is now my coach. So I would say in the first year, it really impacted my bottom line. I speak somewhere in the U.S. almost every week. And it's because of the books and the content that I put out there in book form. Being a published author changes my perspective of me. It's really interesting because it gives you more credibility, but it also gives you more responsibility, and you have to, it's kind of cool to be able to say author, speaker, trainer, and to have that author there. But it made me feel more responsibility to the way that I coach, to the way that I market myself. And so don't go after just the credibility, but also go after the responsibility that being an author gives you. You are an authority, and with authority on any subject, there is responsibility. So embrace that responsibility. The release of my second book was amazing. That actually became an Amazon bestseller. And so that was really really impactful. I now am developing a course on that second book, People-Centered Leadership, and it was because of the impact that it made as I launched it. The clients that were reading it, the people that were buying it, were saying it's a changing, a life-changing book. And so the release of my second book like took me to the next level. And it was amazing how the first book bred the second book, and it was really, really impactful. The third book was really a fun project. It was a small book, Pocket Guide to Leadership, and then the fourth book was it was a bunch of stories about myself, and just without the system, I would not have been able to produce one book, much less 4 books. I would strongly recommend anybody that has a book inside of you, and that's everybody, to really truly consider using Barbara's course. It helped me tremendously. I could not have done it without the course and without the systems. And again, I want to say this, the systems will set you free. So go out there, write your first book. That first book will lead to a second, third, and fourth, and possibly even more. I can't say enough about Barbara Dee's course.